Hey, this your girl, msyelladiva. I'm bringing you another episode of Love and Marriage Detroit. Season 2, episode 8, podcast pop off, okay? Hey, if you're new here, welcome, 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 welcome. All right now, all right. Okay. We do TV and movie reviews here, and if you are returning, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. What? All right. Give me a thumbs up, like and share and subscribe and comment to my channel, and we will begin. All right. So, Brandon's mama, I forgot her name. They said her name on the last season. Well, the last part of the season where he was still living with her. So I forgot what his mama's name. I want to say Tanya, but I don't quote me on that. But she watching the girl. They making little spaghetti and stuff like that. Them little girls are so cute. Okay, cute. And so Brandon and Kristina is picking them up because they had some alone time. Okay, some alone time. Right. He had some alone time. So all right. Now. Okay. We got that now. All right. Anyway. So Kristina tells Brandon's mama that he has been on his best behavior since being back in the house, and she kind of shocked because she know the child that she raised. So she kind of shocked, like, I don't know now. You sure about that? Okay. So Kristina said she took her advice, and she is working on her stuff now. So she told her to work on herself, and so that's what she's doing. So she is starting relaunching her music career after 20 years. Yeah, so she says she's still nervous. She still gets stage fright and stuff like that. So yeah, and she said Brandon is helping her work on her music. Okay, so Kolby, on the other hand, is doing some content creation. Good for her. So she's trying to get a deal at Sam's Club, So she has some Sam's Club cookware, and so she was trying to make some content on the Sam's Club cookware, so she can get a deal from Sam's Club. That was good. And Latoya is an onlooker. Okay, she just looking, because she said she tried to do content creation. She was like, that wasn't for me. She was like, I need somebody else to do it. Hey, if that ain't the road for you, then you need to stay in your own lane. I'm not mad at that. Dr. Latoya. So then they sit down. Kolby's venting about her pregnancy. She tired. She emotional. She has some sharp pelvic pain. Bless her heart. And Latoya is venting about her whole home situation, about being the main disciplinarian. I guess, Anthony just, let the kids do what they want to do. And then she was like, no, you can't be doing what you want to do in this house. Okay. She's overwhelmed. She said she go to work, then she come home, she cleans, she goes to the game, she goes to practices, everything like that. She was just like, well, what about me? And I, you and a bunch of other mothers, okay, bunch of them say the same thing. What about me? What about me? That's just what you got to do as a mother. Even though Kolby saying the same thing. What about me? And she a stay at home mama. Okay, now she do content creation at her home, but she's still a stay at home mama. And she's still asking what about me. So, hey, Kristina, her mother-in-law had to tell her, you need to worry about yourself. You know, I think that's just what mamas go through, basically. So Brandon takes Kristina to his vocal boot camp. He had a bunch of people over there, and they were singing, and he was yelling out stuff, and Kristina looked like she didn't know what she was doing, and she did admit she didn't know what she was doing. So they all leave, and Brandon said, we got to get you physically active as well, because when you are on the stage, you need to sing and dance. You just can't just be singing. You got to sing and dance. For her kind of music, we don't know. If you just a balladeer, you could just stand and walk across the stage. But nowadays, you got to sing and dance. Kristina says she's bringing Chelsea on the team. Now, Chelsea was the girl from last half of the season where Brandon took Chelsea, Kolby, and Latoya out to help him pick a ring for Kristina, because he was trying to get back into the house. Remember, last part of the season he was out of the house, so he was trying to get back in the house. So he picked those two people, all those three people. I think it was another person, but I don't know who that person was. To have him help him pick for a ring, and Chelsea and Latoya and Kolby got into it, and Kolby left, and then Latoya went back and forth, and so Chelsea ain't got a good reputation as far as this group of friends. She ain't got good reputation, but Kristina's gonna bring her on as the brand management or manager or whatever. So, and she coming to Anthony's podcast now. Remember, her and Anthony's wife got into it, so that's gonna create conflict, and so we'll see what happened with that. But then Kristina, you said in your confessional saying Chelsea is cool being in Anthony's precedence. What in the hell is precedence? What is precedence? Okay. What is precedence? Now, I think you were saying presence, but I don't know what the precedence is. Okay. And Brandon was like, okay, well, we'll see how that goes. Well, he didn't say that, but he thought that. Okay, he really thought that. So Russell and Kolby is opening their new gym. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to them. So Kristina is inviting the whole group out for a staycation in Detroit. And apparently they're trying to plan staycations, around the city of Detroit, for a weekend and stuff like that. So the first one that they're going to plan is for the group. Okay. So everybody, said they were coming. But they're going to plan a baby sprinkle for Kolby. Okay. And that's good. They're going to plan a baby sprinkle for Kolby. And so Brandon talks to Russell, and he's like, well, how you do this? You a CEO, a business owner. You in the armed forces and things like that. So he was like, how you do it? And so he was like, because, Kristina gets on me, when I got to be out a lot, and 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 she complaining because I'm not home enough and all that other stuff. Russell was like, listen, I just tell Kolby, listen, this is what I have to do, and she don't like it, but she don't like it. She don't like it, but she deal with it, okay? Whereas Kristina don't deal with it as well as you know Kolby does. I don't know what. Well, I think it's a different dynamic in each of them houses. Okay, whereas Brandon is a little more not forceful as Russell. You know, yeah. So, but like I said, this show is where the stay-at-home moms complain about the husbands not being around, and the working moms complain about them not having enough time for their family and their kids. It's still the same different dynamic. The females complaining about something. The females are literally complaining about something, and the men tend to do what they want to do. That's it. That's all. So Bravo takes Brandon to the new club restaurant. Okay, I don't know if it's a club, it's a restaurant. I don't know. I have no idea what it is, but he takes him to the new brick and mortar, because it was just basically brick and mortar in there. So then they talk about Marcel's apology to Bravo. Brandon said it was passive aggressive, like, I apologize, but next time come to me man to man and all that other stuff. Then Marcel and Anthony talking about Bravo and Brandon. I think this is all stupid. I really truly think that it wasn't no big deal between Brandon and between Bravo and Marcel. Okay, I don't think it was that deep. I really don't. But Anthony, who seems to have a hard on for Brandon, okay, and Marcel, they talking about Bravo and Brandon. Anthony said, Bravo has been hanging around Brandon too long, because Brandon always plays the victim. Anthony said, I think Bravo and Brandon got do a whole lot of dick sucking with each other. And Marcel was like, oh my God. He was like, he was like, don't put me in this. Don't put me in that. He was like, real talk. What do you call it? He ain't co-sign. Marcel's like, I'm not co-signing none of that conversation. Okay. We okay over here. We okay over here. No. But I just think Anthony has a hard on for Brandon. He come for Brandon every season, every whatever. He come for Brandon every season, and I think it's stupid. And I think he got a hard on for Brandon now, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, he Brandon ain't got no more than you got. Okay. Maybe girls think that Brandon cuter than you, but other than that, I don't see what the problem is. I really don't see what the problem is. Okay. That's the only thing I can think of, is that maybe the girls think that Brandon is cuter than Anthony, or maybe Anthony thinks Brandon is cuter than himself too. We don't know. Other than that, y'all on even playing field, so I don't understand what's the big deal. What's the big deal? Okay, and I think Anthony's got more money than Brandon, so I don't understand what what your heart on is on Brandon. Unless you, like I said, unless you think he cuter than you. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway. So Bravo was talking about Keita, how she lost her father. He talking to Brandon, how he lost her father to gun violence, and so now she worried about him losing his life to gun violence because he in the streets. I won't say he in the streets. He at the club late nights. I ain't gonna say he in the streets because we don't know if he in the streets. But when Brandon said that you need to get a tracker on your phone, he was like, "No, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. She ain't gonna keep tracking me like that." I said, "Oh, okay then." Okay, so he may be in the streets, or he may not be in the street. We don't know. All right. So Kristina, Brandon, and Chelsea go to Anthony's podcast. And so they sit down on the couch, and so Anthony was like, "You relaunching your career after 42, and 2 kids and a husband who act like who is a third kid in your life." And so Brandon was like, "Man, what you talking about?" He said, "Well, what genre are you going to pick?" And so Kristina was like, "Well, I haven't publicized my genre and stuff like that." And Chelsea was like, "And you're not going to either." She said not on this platform. Okay. So they in it wasn't but a few questions, and then they end the podcast. So then Brandon and Anthony going back and forth. Brandon was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to help my wife, relaunch her singing career." And Anthony was like, "Well, listen, I gave $250,000 to my wife to launch her wine company." And so then he said, "Well," Brandon was like, you need to get some more wine corks or something like that, because they keep falling apart. I don't even know what this wine is, but they keep falling apart." So while they doing all this talking, Chelsea over here put her arms up, yawning, and then Kristina was like, "What you doing over there?" She was like, "Well, I'm bored." And she said, "And I'm cold." And Anthony was like, "Well, there's some heat out in the car. You can go outside, and get some heat, because there's some heat out in the car." It is some heat out in the car. So then he gonna try to send his boys out there to escort her out. And she was like, "No, you ain't gonna escort me out. That's not what's gonna happen. That's not what's gonna happen." So then he was like, "Okay," and he calling somebody. He was like, "I know how to get people off my property." So I guess he calling the police to get her off of the property, and that's where it ended. Okay. But this show is basically about working mamas complaining that they ain't got enough time for their kids and their family. With I'm about to say household wives. What? Stay at home mamas complaining that their husbands are out all night, and they don't have enough time for them. Okay. It is what it is, okay? I mean, whether you're a stay-at-home mama, whether you're a working mama, you can't do enough for your family. And it is what it is. All right, so give me a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe, and comment to my channel. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.